I'm Lorraine, and 10 years ago, I launched a website called Viva50.com and all its associated social media channels. I also have my own channels, Lorraine C. Laddish, across all social media platforms. I have been making a living full time with my brands for a decade. And before that, I was already doing social media for other websites. Now, what have I learned in these 10 years making a living as a midlife influencer? That not only is it possible, and it's possible to create your brand and make a blip in on the internet, but it's also possible, as I said, to make a living doing it. Even if that's not what you want and all you want to do is just create a presence, I'm going to give you some tips that might help. This is based on an article that I posted recently on Viva50.com, which I will link below. First of all, if you don't already have a social media presence, or even if you do, but it's not that big, I would suggest choosing your subject matter. Midlife is a concept. It's not exactly an age. So whether you're 35, 40, 45, or 60 like me, or even 65, midlife is kind of a time in one's life. It's not necessarily the middle of your life. So if you want to be considered a midlife influencer and be in that niche, then you most certainly can, because brands are looking for women in midlife to promote their products. And also, women in midlife are looking for other women in midlife who have maybe gone through changes like menopause or hair loss or empty nest and things like that. And they're looking for that kind of information. So if you believe that you have something to share with the world, you should get online and share it. Your midlife subject matter doesn't only have to be midlife. I chose to keep it broad, and I do lifestyle. So I do exercise and wellness and health, beauty, travel. You could also hone in on just one part of midlife. It could be travel. It could be just fitness. It could be menopause. It could be relationships. Whatever it is that you feel a passion for, that's what you should choose, because it's very noticeable when someone is very knowledgeable or simply very passionate about a subject. Pick a name. I wouldn't go bananas thinking about the name. When I thought of Viva 50, I wanted it to reflect that I'm bilingual. I speak English and Spanish. I have two cultures. And I thought of a few names like Latina Prime, which I am so glad I did not choose. In a matter of days, because you can really go down a rabbit hole of overthinking a name, I thought Viva 50, and I was on a run and I was like, oh, wow, okay, that's like two different words. Viva will signify that it's Spanish, or so I thought. And 50, I couldn't use the number because it was taken on the URL, but I used the word 50. Well, that will reflect that it's about life in your 50s. And I'm still using it because even though I'm 60 now, I consider that, well, it's still over 50. I made sure that the URL and the social media handles all matched. They're all spelled the same. That way it's easier for the audience to find you. Because if I say, oh, find me as Viva 50 or find me as Lorraine C. Laddish, which is also how I'm present online, if I just say it once, people can find me everywhere. I also suggest that you sign up to social media platforms, even if you think you're not going to use them. So even if you think you're not going to have a YouTube channel, or you're not going to have Snapchat, or you're not going to use it, I would still sign up, because you never know when a platform is going to blow up. For example, I signed up to Instagram the day after it was launched, and I've had that handle for 13 years. When I launched it, I didn't really know what I was doing. Brands were not asking for Instagram posts. I'm just so glad that I already had that handle when I launched my other one, Viva 50. So honestly, you just don't know. So at least secure your name. Build a website. I know, I know. It seems daunting, and everybody says that blogging is dead. We're having so many issues with Google right now in 2024 that it's not even funny. But at the end of the day, your website is yours. Social media can disappear. We've had it with Vine, Google Plus, Periscope. even Clubhouse is still there, but we're not using it like we used to in the pandemic. It's very important to have a piece of real estate that no matter what, it's yours. In the article that is linked below, where you can actually see pictures and a few examples like of media kits and stuff like that, I failed to mention that you should also have a newsletter sign up so that you have a list of people to reach out to, your audience, in the event that even your website or any social media platform were to disappear. Make sure that you treat yourself as a brand. That means that your branding should be consistent. So if you have a certain picture or logo on Instagram, make sure it's the same one across all social media platforms and even, if possible, on your website. I still carry business cards and my picture is on them. So even if somebody who I just met, say at a social media conference, they meet me in person and they might not recognize me, if I hand them my card and they know me from my online presence, usually they recognize the picture. Start creating content even when you think you're not ready, even when you think you're not good enough, or even when you think you don't know what you're doing. When I launched Viva 50 10 years ago, we just started blogging. We really didn't have everything together. We didn't have a logo. I wasn't quite sure what direction the website was going to be taking. One thing I realized all my life as a creative freelancer, I've always worked for myself, is that if you have product, if you have something out there, you can hone it. But if you don't create anything, it is impossible to improve upon something that does not yet exist. So if I wrote a blog post that wasn't good enough, I could always improve it. If I wasn't good at taking pictures, I could get better at it. When I learned how to do reels, for example, on Instagram, my first reels suck. The only way to get better is to actually start. You're not the only one who doesn't feel that she's not ready. But if you don't do it, nobody will do it for you. Create a publishing calendar and stick to it. This is way easier than it sounds. For Viva 50 at the very beginning, I published blogs daily, and I published even, I think, 3 blogs a day at some point. It only means to be consistent. So for example, if you say to yourself, I'm going to publish 1 blog post a week or 1 blog post a month, and I'm going to publish on Instagram 3 times a week, whatever that is, just stick to it. Just tell yourself, these are the days that I'm going to do this, and then simply do it. Take it as a job. If you really want to do this, or anything for that matter, it's important to stay consistent. When I look back at these 10 years of posting stuff online, I have thousands and thousands of Instagram posts. Some are good, some are bad, some are improvable. But the point is that at the end of the day, you only have the content that you actually create and post. For this one, I'm going to send you over to the website, viva50.com. And again, the article is linked at the bottom. You can see there a sample media kit, which you should create, and I would say early on. My original media kit was pages and pages long, but nowadays people really have a very short attention span. So all a media kit really is a little bit about you. It's like your business card, but longer. So it would have all your social media channels, what kind of following you have, the gender breakdown, countries, interests of your audience. And of course, at the very beginning, your numbers might be small, but as you grow and as your content gets better and you produce regular, good quality content, I promise you, brands will reach out and they will ask you for your media kit, so you better have it. Rates are a whole other conversation that we'll have another day. But for right now, just know that it's really good to have a 1-pager. Again, refer to the website, viva50.com, and see a sample of one that I made for myself. And that is simple and easy to replicate. Now, the last one, it might sound like common sense, but honestly, just keep at it. Just keep going. I did start making a living with Viva 50 and with my own presence online year 1. But first of all, I was doing it as a business. Second, I had contacts in the PR world from editor-in-chief positions I had held before as a contractor. And I was very determined to make this work because I needed it to work. If that is not your case, well, yay, because it's kind of hard to work with that pressure. At the same time, I thrive on it. So if I don't have a plan B and social media is my plan A, B, and C, then I'm going to go for it 200%. We all need breaks for our mental health. So do I. But in that case, you should batch your content. Create content for the days or weeks that you're not up to it, or that something arises, or, life happens. It's happened to me. But if you have a backup plan for all those days that you won't be available, you'll be grateful. Thank you for watching this. Click like and subscribe, read the article, and good luck on your midlife influencing journey.